Crap with Beth and Matt. Cut to Crap is the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast. Welcome everybody to episode 7. In today's episode, we are joined by our friend Andy, aka Andy Does Healthy on social media. Andy is a registered dietitian, here to give you nutrition facts with a little bit of sass. We talk about why she became a registered dietitian in the first place, her past as a collegiate gymnast, we debunk some myths, and we discuss whether or not sugar is addictive. And we have a little bit of fun with an overrated, underrated segment. Let's go.
Can you tell what I am, Matt?
You are a cheese, so that's a block of cheese on your head.
Yep.
Are you carnivore?
Is that bacon?
Yep.
Bacon. And you're no carbs, so are you doing keto or are you carnivore? Dressed up as?
I'm a keto diet.
Your keto diet. Amazing. And I'm dressed up in my handy dandy banana costume because apparently bananas are stupid, is what Dr. Ken Berry likes to say. So, and then Beth is a skeleton.
I'm a skeleton.
I love it.
Amazing. This is already, we can just end the podcast now and it's already been perfect. So it can only go down from here. So
really, truly.
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's get this episode rolling. We don't have an agenda for today. So Andy, how are you doing?
Super duper.
Super duper. We are super excited. We've been super excited to get you on here and chat with you for a while. So
we love you so much.
Thanks. I'm so flattered. I'm so excited.
You're our favorite TikTok sassy dietitian. So.
Yes.
Yes, I feel like I should have made the bed, but I didn't. So there you go.
So
I don't make my bed. It's all right. I'm a slacker. So
we don't give a shit here.
No, we do not.
What am I up
we
to?
do not. Yes. How's your day been
going? You guys
going?
all have nice offices. No, the kids are sleeping, and then we might go out and eat food. We never leave the house, so this could be a big
two
deal.
young ones or
twins.
Yeah,
right?
we have almost 2-year-old twins.
Oh my gosh! Talk about a handful.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
So.
I bet.
Yeah.
So, are they boy, girl? Boys, girls? One of each?
Yeah.
Okay. My best friend, Rick, he's a twin. He's 3 minutes older than his sister, so we can't forget that. So.
Right.
No. I thought about when they're older, not telling them who's older, but
yeah, just let them fight about it.
I'm sure they'll ask.
They will. And my daughter's older, and she has the personality of an older sibling, so there's no hiding it. There's no hiding it at all. So
it just comes natural.
Yeah. But it's
amazing.
Fun. They keep me on my toes, and they eat all my food. And
what's your biggest challenge with having two-year-old twins at home, and with maybe your biggest challenge in terms of diet or exercise, I suppose, because I know a lot of people could relate to that then too.
This was funny, and it showed up in a TikTok video. Is someone was like, "Go to the gym," and then I made a video.
Oh, Papa Swolio.
Papa Swolio. I saw your video. I saw your
babysitter. Is I don't have a babysitter. I suppose I could try harder to get one, but a lot of gyms don't have places where you can take small children and then twin small children. I could probably take one baby with me on errands, but two of them, oh no. It's a
for
disaster.
Sure. That's a whole nother set of challenges.
Trying to take two small people places, you need 2 people.
Yeah.
Taking two toddlers anywhere takes 2 people. Yeah. And even then it's a shit show. And then you get them off their nap schedule and it takes them 2 days to recover. So,
I'm the same way. If I get off my sleep schedule.
No. So I can get a workout in while they're napping.
Yeah.
And then whenever I eat when they're eating, and usually some version of what they're eating.
I was going to say, do you eat what they're eating as well?
Yeah, pretty much. And then cooking dinner is very difficult unless my husband's home. And if he works later, again, cooking dinner is impossible. So it's just a big change. So the whole idea of like everybody has the same 24 hours in a day is just complete shit.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I saw a really good post about that yesterday from I think it was Powerlifting Dietitian, I think, made a post about it, I think, on Instagram.
Yeah.
He made a really good post about that because, like you said, maybe some people have a long commute, or some people commute 2 hours each way for work. Right there, that's 4 hours out of their day, which could be used for other things if they didn't have that long commute. But that their hands have kind of been forced for them, right? Their cards have been played. Now they just have to figure out how to play those cards. And it's. I'll be honest, I've been guilty of saying that in the past. Everybody has the same 24 hours, but that's one of those things where as I got more into coaching and building relationships with people, it's not actually that easy because there's so many other factors that go into it. It's just like with something like obesity, there's so many factors that go into it, right? You can't just say it's one thing. So,
Yeah, my husband's commute sometimes on a few days of the week is like an hour and 15 minutes to work and an hour and 15 minutes back. It's like it eats up your entire day.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, and do what you can with the time you have, and the no workout is a bad workout is always good advice.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I think that's something, Beth, you and I both agree on is like, there's no such thing as a bad workout. Something is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For sure. Now, Andy, so you're a licensed dietitian, everyone.
Yes.
So
yes.
How did you get into that field? And what inspired you?
So I did gymnastics my whole life, and going into college, I thought I wanted to be a journalist. And then I took a journalism class my freshman year and slept the whole class. Like it was my nap time. I would go and then I would sleep because I was so tired because, you're a freshman in college, and who goes to bed early when you're a freshman in college?
No, not at all.
And you're in the dorms and nobody... Like the dorms are the least quiet place in the universe. So I would sleep, and then I was like, maybe if I can't stay awake in this class, I shouldn't major in this. So then I wanted to do pre-med. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I was like, oh shit, you have to take OChem. I'm not smart enough to take OChem. So my parents were always like, major in something you can use, which is incredibly practical advice. Like, do not major in psychology or sociology unless you're planning on getting a PhD. Like, just don't do it. Because everybody at Starbucks has one of those degrees, by the way. They do. Like, people think people working at Starbucks don't have a degree. No, they have degrees. They just have degrees they can't use. So my mom was like, major in something that you know. And I was like, oh, I know how to go on a diet. So maybe I'll major in nutrition.
Okay.
It sounds shitty, but that's kind of how it started. And then lo and behold, like all of the nutrition classes are science classes. And then I had to take OChem anyway.
Damn it. You still couldn't avoid it.
No, I couldn't avoid it. And it was really funny because I think to take the MCATs, the only other class I would have had to take is like OChem lab. And then I could have taken the MCATs. But then I was like, oh, well, if I hate being a dietitian, maybe I'll go back to medical school. And then I didn't hate being a dietitian. But you can't do anything with a BS in nutrition. Like you can't. There's no job with just a BS in nutrition. You have to be a dietitian to like work in any real nutrition role.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're an influencer on the internet. Like to work in a hospital, to work in school food service, to work in long-term care, to work in an actual legitimate nutrition job, you have to be a dietitian. And to get a dietetic internship, you have to apply to one. Like they don't just give you one, and they're really competitive. So here I am out of my nutrition undergrad, like having no idea about any of this because like I did sports and nobody told me that. So I was like, oh, shit. Like, what do I do? So I found a graduate program actually at the same place I went to undergrad that had a master's program that had the internship attached. So then I got my RD and my master's degree at the same time. And then
here we are. For to become a registered dietitian, isn't the requirement changing to have a master's degree here soon from a bachelor's degree?
Yeah, by 2024, you'll need a master's degree.
Gotcha.
Which I think is useful because in graduate school, you have to take, or I did, I took an entire class on research, like reading research, deciphering what was good and what was shit research, things like that. And then that's got
to come in handy.
Do research, you do a thesis. I mean, all of that stuff. So it is really useful.
Yeah, like Beth just said, that's pretty much your content right now, right? Like that's on TikTok. That's a lot of what you do is the research and evidence based and debunking all the bullshit that's out there with actual evidence, which people don't believe anyway. So
no, they really don't. They're like, "Oh, you're still full of crap." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
I think
my personal feelings are what matters.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how hard, like what entails to research. Like it's not just going on Google. Fucking typing in something, right? And that's what they think research is, but you actually you're comparing data. And I mean, I'd like to know more about it, but
and the poor people who like do the research and do the studies spend years and years and years on this,
right?
And then people are just like, "You're wrong." And it's like
it's a thankless,
Like for someone to dismiss your life's work, to be like, "Oh, but Facebook told me this." It just, if it was me, I would just be so demoralized and so frustrated.
I mean, to the random person, but like at least with your peers, you stand out to your peers. They review your papers, and they are the ones that are pretty much determining whether you're full of shit or not, right?
Absolutely, but
thus peer-reviewed papers, and which we all love. What's something that instantly stands out as poor research to you? Right? When you're doing your research, when you're sifting through the data, and whether there are types of controls or their methods that they've used, or maybe it's like just an observational study or something. I think that's really something that people don't understand either. Is like a lot of studies that people are citing to support their stance are they're observational or anecdotal, even worse, right? And that's what really starts, I think, the downward trend of misinformation.
Well, I think with a lot of observational studies and a lot of population-based studies, for a lot of things, you can take a big pool of information about a lot of people, and say, we have all of this information about food they normally eat, habits they normally have, and some statistician can take it and make a bunch of correlations. And then another statistician can take it and make a bunch of correlations, and they can be totally different.
Based on what
statistics they use, what exclusions they make. So who do you trust, right? So it's like so a really good example is there is one study that says milk causes hip fractures, and it doesn't. It's complete bunk. And there's one study that says that, and it's because some dude played around with the statistics. And then other people have taken that same set of data, done statistical analyses on that same set of data, and found something completely different.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if you can't prove a mechanism, like how does this cause this, the likelihood of it is complete bullshit.
Right. Which is something that I know I've been heavily involved with lately, and I know you've done videos on this, which is like diet soda and aspartame and all these different colored, dye colorings and things like that, because there's these very weak observations that there's no way to actually make that connection with any type of data, right? But people see these things and they run wild with them.
Yeah, and getting really good nutrition. What? My hat falling off? Yeah, it's hard to wear cheese on your head. Yeah. Getting good
it's better in your mouth.
Nutrition information about people is always very hard because they'll use like food frequency questionnaires. And it's like if I send Beth how often do you eat these foods? I mean, you think you can make an educated guess, but most of the time people are wrong. Right. Most of the time the serving sizes can be really vague. Like nobody knows what 100 grams of bread or 100 grams of vegetables looks like. And like 100 grams of cucumbers is very different than 100 grams of spinach, which is different than 100 grams of bananas. And then again, like I said, they'll make statistical correlations. And then when people look at these things, they'll jump to this causes this, which again is bunk. So we have a lot of observational studies, and that is for diseases like cancer or osteoporosis or diseases that involve aging. That's the only kind of data we have, is because those diseases take so long to get that you can't do a randomized control trial for people getting cancer.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Because that would take like 50 to 60 years and nobody has the time, the funding, and the resources.
Not only that, but you could be following somebody around for that, and then they just cancer never develops, hopefully, right? Then you just wasted all that time and money. Yeah. So
I think they're doing like a bone study at the University of Minnesota, and my husband's like 102-year-old grandma is one of the oldest surviving participants in that study. Like she still goes.
That's
my
amazing.
husband has 104 grandmother right now.
That's nuts.
Right?
And awesome.
It's amazing.
I mean, pick her brain, about what she's done with her life and her nutrition habits and everything.
She made,
she has
Italian mother that stayed home and homemade pasta. And I mean, she made everything from scratch at home, and she never drove, never had a car. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy what like the habits of people who live a long time have. And it's never like, oh, I went on lots of diets and I, was super healthy. No, it's like they were very normal people.
Yeah.
I made my food a majority of the time, and I went and they went on a walk every day. I know, on my daily walks, I've started connecting with this older gentleman. His name is Dick. I think he's in his 80s, but he doesn't look a tad over 60. And he's walking the block. It's like my walk is like a 2-mile walk, and he's walking up and down the street every morning at the same time. And he's done that his entire life, so it's those things. And that's one reason why I talk about, walking every day as being such a fundamental thing that we do, because of the proven benefits of how it helps your cardiovascular health and bone density and just building that good habit and being active. We've lost that.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
All right, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
What do you think about people when they say they're addicted to sugar? Do you think sugar is physically addicting?
Ooh, loaded question.
I really want to get to the bottom of this, because I can, as someone that is like an addict, sometimes it irks me that someone could say they're physically addicted to sugar, but you literally will not have to go to a detox center or die. And that's where I go. But I get the physical and the behavior and emotional part of it. But I just wanted to hear a dietitian's thoughts.
So when people are like, I'm addicted to food, you need calories to survive as a human being. Like, it's a basic, if you do not eat, you will die. Like, it is a basic necessity for human survival. So how can you be addicted to something that you are required to consume for basic survival? 1, 2, all carbohydrates are sugar. 3, 3, I get when they're referring to hyper palatable foods, pizza, like pizza chips, etc. Those foods aren't carbs alone.
Right.
Those pizza
all the other
has
stuff.
Carbohydrates, fat, and salt. Those
all
foods
things.
are a combination of hyper-palatable ingredients smushed together, right? And it's usually the combination of like sugar, fat, and salt mushed together that makes things really, really yummy.
Yep.
And things like Doritos and chips and cookies and things, the food industry has kind of engineered to be palatably sweet enough, but not too sweet that you want to keep eating them. So there is an element of things the food industry has done to make you want to keep eating them. So there is that, right?
The way I look at it, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the way I look at it, I've got 2 scenarios that pop up into my head. One of them is if you say you're addicted to sugar, like go ahead and take a tablespoon of sugar, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to give you that? Like, is that going to give you that same sensation as eating these hyper palatable foods like you just mentioned? Probably not. So that right there is one way that I like to look at it. The other way I like to look at it is with potato chips. Will I just sit there and eat an entire bag of potato chips? Or would I sit there and eat raw regular potatoes like that? Probably not, because it's hyper palatable.
Exactly. Because the potato chips have other things in them, like the texture and the salt and the mouthfeel. And those are things that food engineers have worked on to make you want to eat more. Second of all, I think a lot of people have restricted those foods, currently restrict those foods, or have restricted those foods in the past and have told themselves you can't be trusted around these foods. And have kind of have this inner monologue in their head of either they tell themselves they're addicted to sugar or they tell themselves that you can't be trusted around food. And some of my clients, I tell them, like, what if you just told yourself you can be trusted around food? And what if you just, those foods that you don't let yourself have in the house, what if you just let yourself have in the house?
Unconditional freedom, right?
What if you just changed the whole premise around that and said, I'm just going to have Oreos in the house? Would that behavior change? Granted, for some people, it doesn't. For a lot of people, it does.
Yeah.
So that restriction mindset creates a lot of different behaviors in people, and makes people feel like, oh, I'm addicted to something. No, really, you're not. Really, it's just the kind of like the purple elephant syndrome. Yeah. If I tell you not to think about a purple elephant, what are you going to think about?
You're going to think about the purple elephant.
And when you tell people that you can't be physically addicted to sugar, they get really upset. Like
they do. Yeah.
Like it's just as addictive as cocaine.
No, it's not.
And I'm like, no, that's it. You know,
I've never seen sugar destroy somebody's family and destroy somebody's livelihood. You know,
I mean, it can. It does give you happy hormones in your brain.
Yeah.
But that's biologically what it's supposed to do. That's because calories and sugar and things prevent cavemen from dying. And that's not a bad thing. It's a survival mechanism, and that's not going to go away.
Right.
Yeah. Now, obviously, then there's
but that doesn't mean you're
behavioral
addicted
side,
to it.
right? Yeah. Obviously, eating disorders exist, and mental health and everything. You can be psychologically addicted to it, right? Because you're using that as a coping mechanism or some type of a stress relief or comfort or emotional support, right?
Yes.
So, but physically addicting, obviously,
And then, you know, that comes to the piece, you have to talk about the piece of what do you have in your life that you can use as a tool for stress reduction that's not food related. Like, can you meditate? Can you do yoga? Can you go on a walk and listen to a podcast that you like, listen to a book on tape that you like? Do you have some form of exercise that you enjoy that is not punishment? Who gives a shit what kind of exercise it is? Do something that you really, really like.
Yeah.
So that you can get happy hormones in your brain that are not from food. And then the more times that you do that, your brain can associate that habit with happy hormones. So you know that the next time you're stressed, anxious, depressed, etc., you can go on a walk and listen to that book on tape versus going to get food.
Yes.
And then the more times you do that, the more times that habit will be reinforced versus going to get food.
I love that. Yeah.
And what about like when they say that it causes withdrawals? So what does that come from?
If you go from a very high carbohydrate diet to a low carbohydrate diet, you will get carbohydrate withdrawals, and they suck. When I was younger, unmarried, and working at my last job, I don't know how many of the other people did this, but I did this all the time. I went on diets for the sake of science all the time. And some of the things that happened or side effects as a result of that were just carb withdrawals suck.
You mentioned putting yourself on these diets. Is that just so you knew what the experience was like and what the symptoms were like and what these types of diets did to you so that you would be able to relate that information to your clients down the road then?
Yes, and my dog just opened the door.
My dog's out back during podcast time. Otherwise, she'll bother me too much. So, love it.
Yeah, my dog just opened the door. Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
He looks like a schnauzer, but he's not a schnauzer. He's like a stuffed animal, but he is.
So, with your past in gymnastics too, how was your relationship with food like during gymnastics? Obviously, you have to have a very specific physique, and you got to be super strong as well. So, what was that like? And did you struggle with any type of bad eating behaviors with that?
Yeah, I ran the gamut of like starting diets as a teenager, and the whole. I don't even know if there was a specific like trend because I'm 36. So it was like I was in high school in like the late or like 2000s-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was like low carb. It's probably low carb. So like late high school, it was you can eat as little as possible. But then when I went into college, it was you can't eat too little because then you won't be able to practice, and practices were 4.5 hours. But then,
oh boy,
like we got stipends because I was on scholarship, but it wasn't that much money. So it was like, how can you eat to fuel your workout with not very much money?
Ramen noodles.
Actually, I remember walking to practice in the morning, like eating Pop-Tarts and drinking a Diet Pepsi.
Okay.
Love it.
The Pop-Tarts, you're getting those quick-acting carbs, right?
Yeah.
So those simple sugars. So.
But then I remember like sitting on the bus, eating those little 100-calorie pack. They don't have those anymore, but those like little 100-calorie packs of like whatever snacks they were, and being like, oh, you're too fat to eat actual food. You can only eat this. But yeah, and then I think for a while becoming a dietitian and I worked specifically in weight loss for a long time. Working in weight loss for me was very toxic for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, all you talked about was weight loss, and all you talked about was weight loss. And then you felt like you had to be on a diet too for a really long time. So that was also very weird.
Even as a coach, early on in my coaching career, I actually felt that type of pressure to have that shredded physique and that being super lean all the time. It took me a while to come to terms with the fact that I don't need to do those things, and I don't need to conform to other people's expectations of me. And that's what I teach my clients then too. Is most people come to me with weight loss goals. Most people come to most coaches with weight loss goals, but it's reframing those goals and building other things, getting stronger and improving our health. That's what really matters. And we try to get our clients to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hard thing too is that most people come to dietitians and say, I want to lose weight. And granted, I don't tell people to lose weight because that's not my job. Thank you. Like, yay. But I can't tell someone else what to do with their body. Like I can't say, oh, you shouldn't lose weight because diets are horseshit and you're going to gain all your weight back and you're going to make yourself unhealthier in the process. So you probably should just learn to love your body how it is and focus on healthy behaviors right where you're at, because nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
But it's funny then, if they focus on those things, weight loss might happen as a result of those things, right?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
So how do you frame it that way then, and help people understand that when you start focusing on those other things, that's actually when you it's likely you'll see the results and change that you're looking for, rather than putting weight loss at the forefront, right?
It's hard. Well, when I see clients, I really don't encourage tracking of the food. I don't encourage weighing, measuring. We talk about kind of how to plan your plate as a whole, like getting in some protein, getting in some carbs, making sure there's fat on the plate, making sure there's some non-starchy vegetables. What you put in each of those categories is very much up to you. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to eat because I'm not your mom and I don't know what foods you like. But being nitpicky about the specifics of macros, calories, all of those things is just not helpful.
Right.
And the funny thing is that, the funny thing is a lot of people tend to have issues with eating on a schedule, just like making sure they're getting in regular meal times, making sure they're getting a snack when they're hungry, making sure they're getting some kind of protein at every meal so that they stay full, right? Just getting down the basics. Yeah.
It really is. Like, skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, and then being so famished that,
at the end of the night, they're having 3,000 calories.
Even if we wanted to focus on weight loss, we have to just get the basics of proper nutrition down before you can even focus on other stuff. It's like trying to take off your training wheels when you don't even know what a bike is.
Right.
I love that.
I was
that
just
analogy.
thinking the other day that nutrition, the basics foundation, needs to be taught in schools better. I think that we are lacking in that department, and a lot of people just don't know the basics of like how to, make sure you get protein with your carbs, that they're all the macronutrients go together for a reason, to make you feel better and to fuel yourself.
Well, and the thing, I think the hard thing is that, I think I made a video about this, is that we learn so much of our information from the media.
Yeah.
Diet culture, diets.
Exactly.
The media, yeah.
And people point out in the comments all the time that seeing a dietitian is expensive, and I get that. Like, I am not accessible for a lot of people, and that's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need healthcare reform in that regard. Dietitians should be more accessible to everybody. And we also, I think I saw Dr. Spencer Nadolsky make a tweet about this. Gym memberships should be standard with health insurance. Like, they should reimburse you 100%. Some more forward-thinking insurances do that, but not everybody.
Seen some gyms, I also think, to give. Like,
health insurance is there to make money off of us, though, so I don't see that actually ever happening.
I think I've seen some gyms, granted this is probably uncommon, either give you, like, reimburse you if you go so many times a month, but either doing more like that. But yeah, nutrition is it's not promoted because it's a very good part of preventative medicine, and if more, and I forget her name, but there's a woman who's done a lot of research with like the Haze movement, and they found things like just adding more movement and whole grains and fruits and vegetables. Those kind of behaviors, even if you did not change your weight at all, will reduce your A1C, improve cholesterol, improve blood pressure, and things like that.
Health.
Yeah, your insurance company doesn't want that.
Right.
Like, they make less money off of you.
Yeah,
for sure. And you mentioned a key word you mentioned there was adding, right? So like, and that's how this whole thing should be looked at. Health in our life really is what can we add into our life? Not what can we take away, not what food group can we take away, but what can we add more of? What can we could probably benefit from adding in more exercise, more walks, more enjoying activities that we enjoy, more fibrous vegetables and fruits and things like that, right?
Just, and also with people, the mindset of restriction never puts people, me too, like saying you can't eat this is just going to make me feel yucky, and it's going to make me feel like I did something wrong.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, here's a list of some vegetables, what do you like? Maybe try adding in one a week. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad. I think I can try that.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Is a very different thing than saying, don't eat carbs.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of along this line, as I received a comment yesterday on my fruit video, which you do edit, somebody said,
had me rolling so hard.
So somebody said, Adam and Eve was skinny before they ate the apple. I said, but did eating the apple cause them to get diabetes or cause them to become obese, or did it just sentence them to eternal damnation?
It's like, how do you know? Were you there?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you know what Adam and Eve look like?
But it's just these comments that we receive sometimes, and I think you might be the queen of clapbacks as well. Beth has said some good ones, but the way that you just completely annihilate people in a respectful way most of the time, because you're science based, so you always trickle in the science, but you also put in your own humor in there as well, which I fucking love. I personally love that.
Science and sass.
I only want to be really mean to you if you are selling people bullshit weight loss supplements.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are the people. They have no I have no respect for that.
Yeah.
That's when I take my gloves off.
Or
your banana peels come off.
And combining BS weight loss supplements and fear mongering. Like I have no tolerance for that.
Yeah.
Like that no. Just the combination of carbs are going to give you diabetes, but you can eat whatever you want with my Feel Great system.
Jesus, yeah.
Imagine that. Oh, yeah. They created a problem, and then they're selling you the solution to the problem they created, right?
It
makes me so frustrated. I
want to scream.
But, the thing is that as much as you can get frustrated for people believing it, people want quick fixes to a complicated disease.
Mm-hmm.
And a tea is quicker than a complicated diet and exercise. And losing 80 pounds and dropping your A1C 10 points is a very daunting thing to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the tea isn't going to do fuck all for that, right? So
no, and the tea is like expensive.
You're just spinning your wheels anyway. Yeah, you're going to burn a hole in your pocket.
On Amazon for like $5.
I tell people that all the time, like with ketones, like we see the Prove It ketones everywhere, right? I'm like, if you're going to buy ketones, buy them on Amazon for $5. Fuck Prove It, like don't give them your money.
Don't drink too many of those ketones because they're like salt based and they may make you crap your pants.
Yeah. And what are some other harmful side effects, potential side effects of over supplementation with ketones? Because like you said, those are ester salts and not those salts, right? So those can have a lot of impacts.
Just generally GI side effects. But with electrolytes in general, you just shouldn't mess with them because they can give you GI side effects. They can give you cardiac side effects if you have any cardiac issues. And electrolytes in your body just kind of keep things. You want your electrolytes to stay balanced, and too much of them and not enough of them are just never a really good thing.
Shouldn't that be a huge red flag to people on the keto diet? Because they always supplement with electrolytes, right? Like I would think that's a huge red flag for people. Like your way of dieting is destroying your health. So you're having to do add supplements, to correct these issues. So like I feel like that would be a huge red flag. But we have these keto support groups and carnivore support groups that have all the answers for people, or maybe they're just not ketoing hard enough if they're saying, or they get victim blamed and things like that,
Well, here's the thing is that, like, if you have a colorful, varied diet and you leave the house, which I don't, and there's some sunshine, you shouldn't need supplements, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So these diets that require a lot of supplementation to make you be healthy and survive should always be a big red flag. And the fact that, like, carnivore diets, that scurvy is a possible side effect. Do you know how hard it is to get scurvy? Almost every food that has a color.
We aren't fucking pirates anymore. Oh God, pirates got scurvy.
No, and the thing, like, scurvy is so hard to get, you actually have to work to get it.
Jesus.
Which they are. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. I recently saw an Instagram post from a nutrition doctor about how carnivore is probably going to turn out to be like the most harmful fad diet ever, and there's not going to be anybody to hold accountable to it, because the people that are promoting these diets, there's like the four main culprits, but they're not there to answer anybody's questions. There's nobody there to hold them accountable to it.
No, and yeah, and it's just. And it's funny because the following for these doctors isn't as strong on TikTok, but the following for them on Instagram is like
huge. It's in millions.
And their followers are militant.
Diehards. Yes.
I had to. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I had to curtail who can message me and comment on my Instagram posts, because they started, like, they found
That's
me.
Pathetic.
And they started, like, they will.
They'll
attack your very core human self, gender, intelligence, degrees, every single thing they can possibly find. It's really bad.
That's insane. That's insane to be in that type of situation where you, just by talking food, people get that.
Just by saying that eating one food group is a bad life choice, that you are a stupid human being with no intelligence, no degree, and that you don't deserve to live on this planet. Like, oh my goodness.
Maybe you don't know. I certainly don't know, but like carnivore it's been ramped up these last few months. Obviously it's always been a thing, but like, where did this bullshit start? Like, I don't like, especially the idea of eating like our ancestors. To me, that is just so asinine. Like, but not only that, but when they talk, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but did our ancestors not eat berries and forage and things for berries and fruits?
They ate anything they ate whatever they could possibly find that had calories in it.
So why are these carnivore zealots not, like, taking that into consideration? That, oh my God, they actually did eat fruit.
Because it's not manly.
It's not manly. Is that so? Do you think that's kind of like the MO of that diet? Like, is this alpha male, like?
I mean, there's a little bit of that to it. Granted, there's women that are on the carnivore diet, so I don't want to exclude anybody.
Very strong personalities. Let's say strong personalities then.
But also, too, the thing that's hard about the carnivore diet is that it is so expensive.
So you got to be privileged in order to eat that way.
Keto diets are expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is never discussed in open settings about, like, who can afford this? There's a very small subset of people who can afford grass-fed ribeyes for breakfast.
For sure.
Your dog doesn't like that diet.
He's like, give me some meat.
Yeah, your dog wants grass-fed ribeyes for breakfast. But, like,
I'd love to have that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind your gut. That's gotta hurt.
And, and I always say in nutrition, there's not really new information, because there really isn't
right now
shockingly new information about food, but we are learning more things about your gut. Like, gut health equals body health. They're just going to learn more things about your gut health equaling your health as a human being. fiber is good for your gut.
Yes.
People like to argue with me online about how you can live without fiber. Oh. You can, but you shouldn't.
It's going to be a miserable existence.
Doesn't sound fun.
What's the one carnivore coach literally said fiber is a myth, right? I don't remember which coach it was, but what do you mean fiber is a myth?
Is fiber like a unicorn that somebody made up?
Right.
No.
I was also told today that grammar is made up. So, so there's that. Of course, they were trying to convince me that we shouldn't eat fruit year round because it doesn't grow year round. And of course I showed them that they were wrong.
My God.
He's like, name some winter fruits. So I named off like oranges and lemons, citrusy fruits and tangerines. And he's like, well, they don't grow in Wisconsin. I'm like, you never said Wisconsin, first of all. And he's like, but that doesn't cover snowy environments. And I said, you never said that either. But then I was like, of course. So then I had to show him like, hey, actually these fruits can grow in, with snow covered ground and things like that. Of course,
the world is not like segregated to just Wisconsin.
Right. One state in the United States out of this vast continent and planet, but you want to cherry pick that one,
Wisconsin.
So, Wisconsin. So homage to your cheese head that you're wearing. So for sure.
All right, we are going to play a game. Do you like playing games, Andy?
I'm scared, but I can do this.
Okay. We love games. We love games.
It's overrated or underrated.
Oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go first. Allergy tests.
Overrated.
Have the food allergy tests have those been like pretty much invalidated? Like, what is there actually any?
The Malin ones have been invalidated. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought. Lately, I've noticed actually. Yeah, I tagged you today.
The Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology Society, on their website, they have said this is a no.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so overrated. There we go. Nice and really doesn't require much more conversation. I've got one for you.
Okay.
We got a few. So meal timing. And I'm talking about meal timing okay. Yep. So you already know where I'm going with that. So meal timing just in regards to general life and health and everything.
Okay, I got one.
Overrated. Okay.
Snacks.
Underrated. Underrated.
I've seen a few videos this week telling people that they shouldn't snack if they have blood sugar dysregulation.
And what was this person's qualifications be saying that too? Like that's
I know it's coming. Yeah. Just I don't know if you could see my crossed eyes this far away.
There we go. We're gonna have a lot of good clips out of this one. Beth, let's hear yours.
All right. Underrated.
Why is fruit underrated, Andy? Let's explain it to our listeners. Why is fruit underrated?
Because it's a really good source of quick energy. It goes well with cheese. It goes well with like prosciutto, so it goes well with meat, and it goes well with peanut butter and almond butter and nuts.
Goes well with everything.
It does not, however, belong on pizza.
Ooh, you know what?
I'm with you. I can't. Hot pineapple is just disgusting.
I personally will never order it, but if it's there, I will eat it. Okay, I don't discriminate on pizza. I will eat anything, but I will never order it for myself. So I'm there.
My husband eats it. I don't. Yeah,
disgusting. Thank God there's someone that agrees with me on that one.
with fruit, then too, right? Like you said, it's a quick energy source. I think that's why people demonize it, right? Because of the sugar. But then with fruit, you're getting the fiber, which is going to then offset the insulin response, right?
Yeah. So it's like if you're needing a snack, eat a banana with almond butter. It's really good. Or like a Honeycrisp apple with the maple almond butter. Oh, it's delightful.
I've never had that, but I love Honey Crisps.
Honey Crisps are by far my favorite.
It's that time of year. I'm going to the market this weekend with my son for some pumpkin picking, so I'll definitely pick up some butter like that.
Yeah,
so
the Justin's maple almond butter is just it's divine.
I've never had. Yeah, I love Justin's other butters that they make.
Yeah,
they're really really good.
So,
they got the little snack packs. You just squeeze them and put them on your apple.
Snack pack. What's that? Billy Madison snack. So in the same regard, then I'll give you overrated, underrated. Fiber supplements.
Overrated.
Is the reasoning because we would prefer to get from real food, whole foods, right? And it's not something that's needed.
There's no bad fiber, but it's you can get there's a myth that it's hard to get from food. It's really not hard to get from food. You can get it from berries, chia seeds, beans, some vegetables, some fruit, and you're good for the day.
For sure.
I think people think it's harder to get than it is, and it's not that hard to get.
Yep. Absolutely. Do you have one for us, Andy?
I'm trying to think. Pre-workout.
Pre-workout. Ooh, that's a good one. We talked about that with Sabrina
it's overrated.
last week. I agree. Overrated.
I think it's overrated.
And the reason why I think it's overrated is, first of all, you shouldn't need to rely on something to help you get in your workout in that regard. If I'd rather look at your behaviors surrounding why you need it, right? Are we trying to cover up a shitty night's sleep with pre-workout because we're sleeping 4 hours a night? Let's try to get that under control first.
Yeah.
Now my pre-workout, I literally just have coffee. If I need anything, I'll have black coffee and a banana. What I eat myself, since that's what I'm wearing today, so
I'm delicious.
I got called a cannibal too on my video I did yesterday because of
Matt,
I was eating a banana.
The best kind of protein for you is the one most like you.
There you go. That's creepy in a way, but let's
That's what I was taught in school.
Gotcha.
I think pre-workouts are so dumb.
Yeah, so I agree.
I mean,
people use that. It's just another waste of
money. And it's God.
Well, and they often mix weird chemicals in them and weird stimulants in them, and it's ooh.
And that's not regulated either, right? So
no supplements are.
Yeah.
Unless you get the third-party rating, third-party tested, which that's more respectable, but not everybody goes that route too. So you have no idea what you're getting a lot of times.
They've found hard drugs. They've found banned stimulants. They've found banned diuretics. They found things that make you poop your pants. There's been some real gnarly stuff found in supplements, and these aren't even on the label. So.
Because there's no regulation on that, right? They can do whatever the hell they want, essentially.
And they can put whatever they want on the label.
Right.
And nobody's going to test it unless a few people die.
Then you might be in hot water, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's what it takes for the government to get involved, is a few people dying.
Get that class action lawsuit or something.
It's horrible, but it's true.
Get the FDA's attention. Yeah, for sure.
They have too much other things to do.
Definitely. Beth, you got any more overrated, underrated for us?
I do. Pumpkin spice.
Ooh.
I am as basic as they fucking come. So this is so underrated. Anything pumpkin spice, just put it in a bathtub and I'm gonna sit in it. And then I'm going to eat it
all. For me, that's overrated. I'm not a pumpkin spice person, but I'm not, I don't think I meet the criteria for the pumpkin spice craze. So,
yeah, I ran out of pumpkin spice creamer, and then I used a hazelnut creamer, and then I was like, this is really depressing. So
I will say I went to the coffee shop down the road last week, and they had a special pumpkin spice latte brew or something, and it was real fancy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself today. I hated it, but I also drink black coffee, so it was too sweet for me.
Oh yeah.
I like the bitter, bold taste. I like Cabernet Sauvignon and things like that. So I like bold tastes. So definitely not for me.
I have too much acid reflux to drink wine because I'm an old lady. But like I like pumpkin beer. I like pumpkin things.
I do love pumpkin beer. I'm guilty with the pumpkin beers. That's my fall beers are my favorite because of that. So that's my basic bitch right there is the pumpkin beers.
Does it Shipyard have a good pumpkin brew or something?
I think so. Pumpkin is my favorite.
Pumpkin, that's my favorite too. Yes, Andy. Yes.
It's quite high in alcohol content, so I drink one
it's like 10,
and then
I think.
Turn bright red like a tomato, and then I'm knocked on my ass.
And they give it to you in a small serving too. They give it like in a 6 or 8 ounce glass because of that. So yeah, for sure.
But yes, I am proud to be very white girl basic, and that is so fine
that was
by me.
Underrated for you too, Beth? Was that what the consensus was?
Because I get when fall comes, I get really fucking irritated because people at the end of August are like, I want pumpkin everything. And I live in Maine. So winter is like seriously 8 months. And I'm like, you guys, it's fucking August. We've only had like 3 months.
Let's not rush this.
Let's not rush it. I mean, I love the fall season. It's great, but I don't want it to come yet. So I get really irritated.
Yeah, I'm in
Live
Georgia.
In the moment.
It's still like 75 degrees out.
Oh, see, nice. It's so very cold right now. Can you
just be a little colder so I can wear a big sweater?
Yeah, you can come here. It's very cold.
Yeah, here in Ohio, we're in full on fall now. It's only probably like 50 degrees outside.
It's almost winter basically here.
Yeah, in Maine, you're probably going to be getting snow any day now.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, when I lived in Minnesota, there was usually a good blizzard before Halloween every year.
Yeah.
Oh, Minnesota. I went to Minnesota once. This is back when I had a full-time job, and I did curling for the first time ever when I went to Minnesota. Super fun, but super challenging. That is a hard game to like moving I don't even remember what it's called. It's not the puck, but the whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's called.
Scooting that along the ice. Yeah. You want to imagine like how sweeping the ice can have that much of an impact, but it does. Like, and they're like bending it like Beckham and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't do sports anymore because my coordination is very poor.
Is it? Even as a former gymnast?
Yeah, I trip and fall a lot, and I like pull my back muscles just moving, so I keep it really.
Got it.
Not totally sedentary, but we keep it pretty low key.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more on my list of overrated, underrated.
Let's hear it.
This is just protein shakes.
See, I'm totally in the middle. I can't.
Okay. I think that's fair. Appropriately rated depending on the context, right? Yeah. I think is the fair thing to say.
Because
I'll say like.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in terms of what like people ask all the time, is it okay to replace a meal with a protein shake? And I'm like, let's not do that. Maybe, if we're in a pinch and a protein shake is all we have, cool. But like, I don't want you to be replacing full on meals with a protein shake or something like that. That's where I say that they're overrated. But then in terms of reaching our goals and just getting enough protein in, I think they're appropriately like neutral, I guess.
Yeah. I am kind of the same. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, you have to have protein shakes. But I've had a lot of clients who are not breakfast eaters because they wake up and like run out the door. And a protein shake can be a very, very speedy breakfast option.
That's a great point. Yeah. Do you have your clients? So something that a lot of my clients will do is they get the Premier protein shakes and they'll blend that in their coffee in the morning, and then instead of using like regular creamer. And I think that's great when people do that.
Yeah. So in that case, like if someone doesn't eat breakfast or doesn't have time to make a balanced breakfast, or will just eat like cereal, which has 0 protein in it, doing like a protein shake or mixing your protein shake in coffee and maybe like a banana and a glob of peanut butter can be a much better option than nothing. Because a lot of people don't have time to make a big breakfast before work. So in those instances, awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I agree.
I love the explanation. Andy, were you able to come up with another one for us, or Beth, do you have another one?
I don't have any more.
Okay, let's put Andy on the spotlight.
I have an exercise one.
Ooh, let's hear it.
The VersaClimber. You know the stair? Oh no, do you know what the VersaClimber is?
Yes.
The little thingy on the wall.
Death is what that is. It's called Death, is what I call it. So overrated or underrated? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
probably overrated.
I guess just in terms of a cardio workout, or like just in overrated.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Overrated. I think it's way. That's very high intensity. If your goal is to get a high intensity, quick cardiovascular workout, and that will definitely accomplish that. Yeah. But I think it's way overkill for the majority of people. I think that's got a very specific purpose for like athletes and conditioning. If you're really trying to get in really good conditioning, I think. So I would say overrated for most people.
How about walking, like the stair machine or walking upstairs? Overrated or underrated?
I was going to say underrated. Yeah.
Why do you say underrated, Beth?
I've had clients, let's say during the pandemic, like they didn't have any equipment at home. So I would have them walk up and down their stairs for 12 minutes straight. Just as like a finisher.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will also say underrated. And my reasoning is because it's not running. And most people think of running as what they need to do for cardio and things like that. Yeah. So I love walking and walking variations. Anything we can do to just implement that more. So walking on the Stairmaster, walking on the incline treadmill, I'm all on board with that. So I would say that particular piece of equipment is underrated.
Yeah.
I hate running. I think running is horrible.
Same. Which is funny because I started out in my
and now I don't run anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever been a runner, Andy?
No, I'm short and I have stumpy legs. And I did gymnastics, so I'm like all quick twitch muscles.
Okay, yeah.
No,
yeah.
I like when I was in my like diet phase, I'm like, oh, I have to run. And then the last time I ran a 10K, I was like 28, and I told my husband, I'm like, never let me do that again. And then I had knee surgery.
Oh,
because I had knee problems, and that's never going to happen. So
got it. There's so many ways to get like cardio, like running. If you enjoy running, like I will never tell somebody to not do something, right? Like we talked about earlier, find something that you enjoy. If you enjoy running, do it, but don't think you have to do it. There's so many other ways to do it.
Yeah.
I could probably name 100 things right now that you could do instead of running. So I don't want to do that though. So taking a nap, recovering.
I know, that sounds better.
Amazing.
Can you guys hear the animals in my background? Oh, now my husband's home. Hi, Mike.
You live in Maine. I assume you live in the forest.
Is he the animal you're referring to? Your husband?
The animals are home.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my goodness.
This has been a very productive hour and a very fun hour, I think. Yes.
So fun. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm very flattered. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah.
Of course. It's been super fun, super enjoyable. And I know everything you talked about, I think people are really going to appreciate it and hopefully learn something from it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Goal accomplished.
Well, thank you guys for all of the good things that you say and do and being so supportive. We appreciate you.
We love you. Thanks for being the sassy dietitian that we all love, that we all need.
The hero we needed. We didn't know we needed, but we got her. So
yeah.
Yes. All right, Andy. You have a great day. Thanks for joining us today.
Have an amazing day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. And that is a wrap for episode 7. If you have found even the smallest nougat of wisdom in this episode, share it with a friend that needs to hear it. Come on, don't be stingy. Your friend will think you are the absolute best person out there. I know I love it when I get that random text from a friend sharing a link to a podcast that they know I'm going to absolutely love, along with the message, oh my God, you've got to listen to this podcast. You will fucking love it.